you want to let them know what products or services they can expect from your brand. And then you want to have at least 1 to 2 CTAs in that email, sending them to a product or your website to help you get more traffic, right? This is the start of the initial journey. This is them learning or understanding what it is that you do as a business and what value you could give them.
Welcome to Two VAs and a Mic, your guide to making money and serving your community. In our podcast, we'll help you learn about the journey of monetizing your skills and providing your services professionally, all from the comfort of your home.
We also will talk to our business owners, authors, writers, CEOs, and solopreneurs who may use or benefit from using a VA in their business. Boil all that down to 2 VAs and a mic, and then mix them together with 2 different perspectives, flared with expertise.
What do you get? Shauntá Harris, founder of Shauntá's VA, LLC.
And Lovelee Brooks, founder of Lovelee Occasions and Etc., LLC.
We'll be talking about email sequences, specifically a welcome sequence for your business. I love emails, which is why it's part of my service. So I thought today we could go through full welcome sequence with emails that should be included in any information that should be included for anyone who hasn't started a newsletter yet or is in the process of putting out a freebie and they're not quite sure of what they should put in their emails or how to go about doing it. So that's what we will do today. Okay. First, I want to start off with email marketing platforms, right? If you are going to choose to have a newsletter, email platform would be best for you in that it's going to provide you with different landing pages that you can create for your freebies. It's going to help you with automations for any emails that you need to send out. That way, you don't have to keep going back into Gmail or whichever software that you use for just regular emails to send out to everyone. It will all be automated. If you click on my link and type in MailerLite, because that is the one that I am affiliated with, you can check that one out. Whatever email platform you are using and you want to send out a freebie or put up a freebie to get people on your newsletter, the first thing you want to do is go in and create you a sign up form. Okay. In the sign up form is what you're going to ask for their name and their email in return for the freebie, whatever content you are choosing to give them. So once you set up that form, you want to give it a name, right? So because we're talking about email sequence today, that's the name that we're going to use throughout the steps that I have. You would name that your email sequence. Once you name that workflow, the title, the name that you want to have that sequence as, you are going to set a trigger. And that trigger is going to automatically put those subscribers into that particular group that you want them to go into. So if you have an ebook, whatever the title of that ebook is, should be the name of that sequence. So if you have more books coming out later, those particular people are ones that were interested in either the ebook or the information that was inside of the ebook. Okay. And then after that, you are going to select a subscribers group. Now, I have a lot of different ones. So if I start off with my freebie and I have them in the welcome sequence, after they're finished with the sequence, I do want them to go into my monthly newsletter so that they can get all of the information, right? After you've selected the group, you want to add your first email template, right? In this email, you want to welcome your new subscribers, okay? Then you want to let them know what products or services they can expect from your brand. And then you want to have at least 1 to 2 CTAs in that email, sending them to a product or your website to help you get more traffic, right? This is the start of the initial journey. This is them learning or understanding what it is that you do as a business and what value you could give them, right? And then on the next step, once they get that initial email, you want to set a delay. You don't want to flood people's email boxes with your emails all the time, all the time. Even though I love emails, it is quite annoying. So I like to personally set a 2-day delay after that initial email, right? Just to see, give them time to, explore my website or explore the freebie or product that they signed up for to see if they can give any feedback. As well as in that first email, you want to have a call to action of them to engage with you, right? So if they like the ebook or if they like the template that you may have provided to them, have them reach back out to you. And, in that email, put your email address for them to click on it just to give you a reply. That's how you want to have your subscribers engage back with you, give you some type of feedback, because your emails and your business is basically for them, right? You want them to be comfortable and knowing that they come to a place that they're going to get valuable information. And if you make a suggestion, they would take it in consideration, right? So after the 2-day delay, you would have a trigger again, an automation to set up to send out a second welcome email template, right? In that particular one, you are going to introduce yourself as the business owner or the business, as well as you want to let them know about your products, okay? Or in that second email, you can also upsell whatever initial product or service that you put in your first email. So if it's a freebie and it's a template on steps and guides how to do something, your second email could possibly be references that could help them or a potential service or product that can help with them, right? Because you want to try to also make sales with your newsletters, okay, with your emails. Make sure it's the 80-20 rule, meaning 80% of the time you are giving them value, 20% of the time you are trying to sell whatever product that you have or service. Okay. So then after that second email, I also put another 2-day delay to see if the first email was opened or the second email was open. Because sometimes people are busy. Sometimes people don't want to look at it, right? Especially if they got the initial freebie or initial product that they signed up for in the first place. So I set a 2-day delay and then I add a condition. And what I mean by a condition is I want to know if people are reading my emails. Are they opening my emails? And the only way for me to find out is if I go in and look at my analytics, or I can just set up a condition. And then the first condition I set up is if they open the second email, I would send them an email for a discounted rate for any service or product that I have. If they did not open that email, the second one, I would send them another email with a different title. Okay. But the same content that was in that original second email, just to get them to engage with me or get them to open that email, just to read that content in there to learn a little bit more about me because they did initially sign up, right? And then if they do not open that email, that's okay. I still would send them in that third email the discounted rate for a product or a service that I sent the first group. I know this is a lot. The first group that opened the second email, I would send them the same email for the discount. And that lets them know that, okay, you did. I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful that you signed up for my newsletter. And here is a discount for you, or here is a coupon for you if since you chose to learn information from me or to engage with my brand, right? Now, after those initial emails, once they're done with the sequence, I keep them in that particular sequence. In this case, we're speaking of welcome sequence, but I will also add them to my monthly newsletter. That way they can be in their own section for whatever service or product they originally signed up for, but they also can know everything else that I have going on in my business with my monthly newsletter. But when I have another product like the freebie that they signed up for, I can send that information specifically to them and not my whole entire email list. I hope that made sense. And then after that, you just keep it going and then use that same path, use that same sequence for other emails that you have coming out.
So, how many emails altogether does it sound like a person would need to have in their welcome sequence?
I personally use 5. The initial one, where they'll have their downloadable or whatever the product is. The second one, introducing myself and the business. The third one, if they opened, would be that discounted rate for any kind of sale that you have going on. The fourth one would be the second one, again with a different title if they did not open the second email. And the third one would be that discounted rate in that section. The fifth one would be the discounted rate that you gave the first group who opened the second email. Is that following? Does that read smoothly?
It's following. I don't know how smooth I'm on the surface. I'm over here rethinking those things. So, for a person who opened the email, essentially they would have 4 emails. Is that correct? And then a person who didn't open the third email, they would still have 4. Is that correct?
The person who opened the email, yes, would have 3. The individuals that did not open the email would have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
Okay.
And it's all because of the condition, right? So you already have these emails templated. So you're not recreating any emails. You're just changing the subject line.
Okay. Are there certain things that you like to put in the subject lines or that you look for that you in general see as an enticing subject that really draws people to open the emails?
Action words, adjectives, For a welcome sequence, I always like to congratulate them and thank them for signing up or getting that product or that freebie. So I don't like clickbaity headings, subject lines. Make sure whatever the subject line is, it goes with whatever the content is inside of that email, right? I don't want to click on something like, here is a prize, and then you get in there and they're telling you about your business. There was no prize.
That can be a prize. You just want an opportunity to learn about XYZ business.
This is true. This is true. I ain't gonna mess with you. This is true. But I do like for it to go with whatever is on the inside. If it's a welcome sequence, title it welcome. If it's about something you have coming up in your business, ooh, you are going to love this subject line. You know what I'm saying? An action to hit you with your emotions, make you feel a certain kind of way, like, ooh, what's she talking about? So you can be interested, intrigued.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the next sequence that you would recommend people would put in after the welcome sequence?
After the welcome sequence, to me, this is how I do it. I'm not sure. I'm sure other people have other ways. I just have them go into my monthly newsletter. And when you're on my monthly newsletter, you get whatever information or content that I am sharing that month, as well as my RSS feed as far as my blogs, my YouTube channel, or my podcast. So you're still going to get 2 emails from my brand per month. So you're in that flow. Now, if I were to have a special going on and you were in a specific group in my email list, you will only get that information as well as the 2 monthly and my RSS feed. That makes sense?
Okay. I definitely think it's important and everyone needs to have their email marketing up to date. I feel like sometimes we talk a lot about social media and getting your presence out there, but the goal is definitely to get them off of your social media and into your own database and on your emailing list so you can continue to just conversate and build your audience. Trying to think here. I just think email marketing is something that is such a continual thing. It is.
It
So
definitely
where
Is.
sometimes constantly always thinking about the right sequences, the way to put them, the order, but it's definitely well worth it. So you did talk about the 80/20 rule. What are some other strategies that you see being important for email marketing?
Upselling. I think it's very important. I'm not sure how many people understand that newsletters and email marketing are different. Your newsletters is just going to be a bunch of information that is going on inside of your business. It's more of a conversation, right? You have to me, the dialect should be set up more of a conversation you're having with a friend and then letting them know what's going on. When it comes to email marketing, it is going to be a lot more graphics and specific targeted words to sell that service or product, and is most likely going to go into your spam or your sales folder versus a newsletter because it has more words. I hope that is understandable. Because a lot of the time you could sign up for someone's newsletter, right? And you're going to always, majority of the time, get it in your primary. But if they have a ratio of more images and graphics than it do words, it's going to automatically go in spam, junk, or your promotions folders, regardless if their newsletter comes into your primary or not, which is why a lot of us, when you do have a downloadable or you do have a freebie that you're putting out there, your thank you for subscribing or thank you for downloading message should give them that information. Please make sure you check your spam or your promo, whatever platform that you are on, because it could possibly go there. And it's only because of the ratio of images to words.
So, what is, again, a good ratio then for image to words in order to avoid going into somebody's spam?
Now, for me, I know there is a direct answer, but for me and from how I'm understanding it, 3 images to, I would say, 50 to 100 characters, right? A regular email would have no more than 200 words in it before it becomes too much. Some people have way, way, way more than that, which is cool. But if you have under that and it's images covering up more of the space, it's going to put it in the spam just because of how the platform is reading the content. They can read images as more space. I'm going to go so technical, real lovely. I would say 100 words to 3 images. If your newsletter has about 200 just words, no images, it's going to go in the primary. If it has 100 words and 3 images, it's more likely to go into your promo or sales.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to what your definition of, because I feel like we also didn't touch on, you were saying newsletter and then email marketing. I mean, to me, they're not the same. To me, email marketing is like the big umbrella, but newsletters that you're doing through your emails would be a part of your marketing. Even though it's more a conversational piece, you're still marketing your brand. You may not be making direct, basically campaign sales, but tell me how you make them different or how you differentiate it.
My newsletters don't have a lot of images, and my promotional emails do.
Okay, so you're just strictly looking at images.
Me personally, yes. Because if I'm selling something, it's going to be a promotional page. A promotional page is your words are going to pop, your colors are going to pop, the image is going to pop. If I want you to learn information, you're going to read. That's just me. Doesn't mean it's law.
Okay. So I would just go back and say, well, that's something that I have never looked at. I definitely don't. So that's definitely something new that I've picked up on is we're just looking at images altogether. And of course, that's something new. But your email marketing, in my eyes, it can hold your newsletter, it can hold your sales campaigns, it can hold your nurturing, all those different things that you're going to do through your email, because the ultimate goal is for them to be aware of your brand and aware of what your company's doing in general. So I guess that's how I kind of look at it. I see that Jody put a question in the chat. Now she's asking, how often do you send email newsletters?
A monthly, if you're just going to start off, a monthly newsletter, or it actually depends on the brand. At least if you just send out one per month, we'll start, and then if you have your freebies that's going out, once they get the freebie, they go through the nurturing sequence. There should be more information as they continue to stay on your email list. So I say one, but there's plenty of people that, put 3 and 4 out per month. It just depends on your business, your brand.
Have you started doing your email newsletters, Jody? You can put that in the chat. I'm just really curious. No? Okay.
Let me clarify this because it was correct in my head, but I wasn't saying it correctly. Well, I was saying it correctly. It just probably came out jumbled. So I Googled it. To sum up, newsletters are different than email marketing emails and transactional emails. Newsletters are mainly personal, and while they may sell through building personal brand and brand awareness, they are mainly designed to nurture relationships mid funnel. Email marketing emails are more like sales brochures. A brochure, you're going to get more images, right? So it's still the same thing that I was saying, but I think me reading that is a little more clear.
So, how would you assist someone who is beginning and starting, like Jody, who's thinking, she needs to get on to building her email list? Or what would your recommendations for her be?
Create a freebie or a coupon for a service that you have, whatever your business is. If you have any instructional information, put it into a template. You can go into Canva, create a nice little template, give them that information, and then have a news email marketing platform. Once again, I'm going to plug MailerLite because I love it and that's what I'm affiliated with. And in there, you can create a landing page. In that landing page, give them information about the template or the product that you would like for them to receive, and then link it to that, have a button with your CTA, and then your nurturing sequence would start that way. And that's your first way of getting individuals on your newsletter.
Okay, and she was just asking which program is good for email newsletters when just starting. So,
You have ConvertKit, MailChimp, Constant Contact, MailerLite. There are others, but those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. ConvertKit is what I started off with. It's a really easy platform, to me, very user friendly. I didn't have a specific reason of why leaving there. I just was interested in newsletters and chose to learn about other platforms as well. And that's how I came across MailerLite. And I just love MailerLite. Actually, someone suggested it and I agreed with them. And I've been with MailerLite ever since because of their automations. I love automations. And to me, MailerLite automations was better than ConvertKits. But you click on my link, you can check it out. Just type in MailerLite, and that MailerLite link will pop up, and you can just skim through it. And it's free.
okay, Jody, so you got the deets there. And if you're wanting to get more information on how to start your newsletters, then make sure that you get with Shauntá on that. And then she says, do you feel like MailerLite is good for email marketing as well?
Absolutely. I like it. I can sell off of it, right? Well, if you get the paid program, which is $10, you can put a checkout on there. So that's a one way of bringing in another source of income through your business, is to sell it through your newsletter. Email marketing, they have so many templates. Even on the free plan, they have templates for you to use. that you can design and get a better feel of how to do the email marketing, as well as they have templates for you just to start out. If you just only want content, I think it's just the editor, the classic editor where you can just write, and it is very user friendly. And they have an academy where they teach you how to use the platform, and you can just, click on different videos as well as YouTube.
Okay, awesome. Oh,
Nope.
Jody is asking for you to please repeat the sequence.
Jody, what I'm going to do is I am going to write it out for you, and I am going to back channel it to you, and I will also put it on my link. So I have it on my list, and I will create a template for you. I should have thought of that, but I did not. So thank you for asking, and that is something that I will create, and I will have it to you by end of business tomorrow.
I was also going to say, when you're thinking about freebies, is those little things that honestly make good freebies. If you have a question about how to do your sequence, all the other people do too, and you're giving them a taste of your services before you actually offer your services. So you're like, hey, here's the template, or maybe you don't even give them the whole template because that could be a digital product, but y'all know how I do. Um,
Amen.
but you may just give them a list of how the sequence would flow, and you can just title it email sequence that has helped me build my email list. And that's a great freebie. It's not much to it. You can just say, hey, these are the five, this is how I flow. That could be a perfect freebie. And what happens is you get some people that love it and want to implement it themselves, but there are a lot of people who just don't have the time, don't feel like it, don't feel like they have the expertise, and they're looking for someone to do that for them. So that automatically they're going to start looking at you because you're like, hey, if you like this, then you will love the fact that I can actually implement this for you. Click on my link. Let's talk. So, when you're thinking about freebies, I would say don't think too hard into it. Think about what just simple question do you have that makes people want to come to you for your services? And you're just giving them a very small sample. I don't know if y'all go to Sam's Club on Saturday. Girl, that could be a whole field trip by itself, right? I don't know. You can take the kids, have a whole lunch with just the samples, right? You may not even want to buy the stuff, but you just get a little taste. And sometimes you taste something you didn't even know that product existed. You got a little taste, and next thing you know, what happens? You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the cart because that was good. So it's the exact same way with the freebie. Just think about a question that you have, how to get started on something, how you have built something, and just a very simplistic way, put it out there as a freebie. And then it's a very easy way to tie it into what you actually offer. So just don't think too hard about it.
Yeah, it's not. I did the same thing though. I did the same thing. I couldn't think of something in the beginning, but like she said, it is very simple as you're learning and someone else want to know the exact same information. And Jordan, if you click on my link and you go to the organization and automation ebook, the sequence that I just stated, you will go through that exact sequence. So that you can use that as a reference, but I still will give you the template. No worries on that. But that would be a live sequence that you could actually go through and see how it flows and see the wording and see the images or however you choose to and enjoy a flip book about organization and automation.
Jody asks, does your email sequence, must it be about the services you offer in your freebie?
No. If you were to click on the organization automation book, above the fold is going to ask you to download it with a form. Underneath that, I am going to tell you about me, the author. And then in the middle of that, I'm going to tell you about different sections in that particular book. But you have to give some information about the freebie, but also direct them to other platforms of yours. subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my podcast, or send them directly to your website. If you would like more information on the services that I provide, click here. Does that make sense?
So I'm going to come back through and say basically yes. Only because even though she was saying the ebook and it's not a service, it's still her product. So you do want to give people a freebie that ties back to you, your brand, your company, something you've done, because they're going to be on your email list and they're going to be part of your community. So part of them being part of your community is knowing more about you, your company, what you're trying to do, what you are doing, that type thing. And I'm only saying it like that because when I first read the question, I'm kind of thinking, would you just want to give someone a freebie that doesn't tie to you in some way? You would, because they're going to be in your database and you're going to keep talking to them about you, your company, your services, your products, your passions, who you are. And if you give them a freebie to kind of bring them into your email list and they don't like what you're representing, then they're just going to unsubscribe anyway. So
True.
that's just how I kind of interpreted the question. So I will just put that out there. Okay.
Sorry
Jennifer.
about that, Jordy.
Okay. So for me, I was about to ask Shauntá if, okay, so I know you have 3 rotating freebies and the 5 email sequences. Now, how do you nurture those subscribers? How often are you sending? I don't know. I mean, you're the writer, so I assume you probably communicate frequently. My goal is once a month. I am not right now. I will not give more than that. And so I'm just like, well, what does that look like, right? What does a newsletter look like on a month to month basis? Like, yeah. So what do you do? Like,
You can send it.
Shauntá, I want to get a sneak peek of your world.
You can send it once a month. That's fine, long as you're consistent, right?
Okay.
Now, even I'm not as consistent as I'm supposed to be, but as long as they're getting something from you, just do it once a month. And like I was stating earlier, when they get those initial emails in my welcome sequence, they go into my monthly newsletter. And so they get my monthly newsletter, and then later on in the month, they get my RSS feed of my blogs, my YouTube channel, or my podcast. So initially, after the initial sequence of welcoming, that nurturing sequence, they will remain to get 2 emails from me per month about my product, services, or what I have going on in my business.
Okay. And do you ever get, not personal, but give them some insights or share anything that you have? Like, you were sick last month. Like, would that be something that you would share, and how, I guess, you gave yourself grace, or how you manage business, or just mom life, you know? Like, do you
Yeah.
ever? Okay. Just
Yeah,
curious.
I do. My newsletter is called The Experience because it's my experience of being a
Come
virtual
on, the
business.
experience.
Yes. And so, yes, I did name my newsletter. So, in the first part of the newsletter, when you come into it, I tell you about my experience or what's going on and how I may have gotten frustrated about that. The second section of my newsletter is called Resources. I'm going to give you an affiliate link to something. I think the last one, and this is how long it's been, y'all. The last one I gave out to, I mean, I linked, I didn't give anybody anything. I gave them links to do 2 different grants for women in business. And then underneath that, I have a until next time where I ask them, did they receive value from any of the content that I put on there, and what do they have going on in their life? Reach back out to me, let me know how I can help. And then I throw them the peace sign.
Nice. I like that. I think this might be my last question. I know we don't have too much time. Um, do you, just out of curiosity and clearly to make sure I set myself up the right way, do you have a completely different email for your newsletter, or do you use your one business email that you have?
No, I use the one email, info@Shauntá. Now I have 2 email addresses. Is that what you're asking me of?
Yes. So
Uh,
when you send the newsletter, are you using your regular business email, like where your HoneyBook stuff go to? Hypothetically, just wondering.
They are linked to go
Mm-hmm.
to the same inbox. However, they are different addresses. Honeybook
Mm,
example is set up with Shauntay's VA LLC at gmail.com. Newsletter is info at Shauntay's VA.club. However, they go to that
gotcha.
same inbox.
Right. Okay. And is it best practice to have a completely different email for your newsletter subscribers, especially since you do ask for feedback and ask, have a kind of like a conversation with your subscribers when they do respond?
I
Does
think
that
in
make
the
sense?
areas of your business, if you have a course and you want them to reply to a certain email, so you're targeted in on that. If it's just your newsletter, targeted in on that. I think I have two different ones because I was told it didn't look professional. Have the end of it with a Gmail, but I wasn't finna change and go into my hosting server to rechange all that. So I just added the email and then routed it all using the same thing. Technical, technical.
Got it. Thank you.
And I will say, as you start getting into like business credit and certain things, there are definitely places that will completely just deny you, or you'll only, I hate to say you'll only get so far, but there's a lot of doors that will be closed because your email is not set up with a domain. Let me just put it that way.
Absolutely. And
So
have the
I
two.
do definitely think that if you're looking long term, just kind of understand that you may want to look into getting domains and so forth. But that all depends on just where you're at in your business at that time, and how you're growing.
Thank you for listening to Two VAs and a Mic.
I'm Shauntá Harris.
And I'm Lovelee Brooks. Until next
Until
time,
next time,
peace.
peace.